What if the creatures sailors claimed to see weren't just legends? For centuries, waves have carried stories of shapes that rose from the deep, only to vanish before anyone could name them. My name is Sam, and tonight we're diving into 10 sea legends that might not be myths at all. The first is a creature from New Zealand's traditions, known as the Taniwha. This being belongs to Maori stories, passed down by a people whose lives have long been tied to the sea. Taniwha are said to be huge water-dwelling monsters, shaped like serpents, crocodiles, or creatures with fins and ridges. Some are seen as guardians, while others drag boats or travelers into the depths. Legends tell of them forming harbors, carving rivers, and watching over communities. One well-known account claims a Taniwha hollowed out Wellington Harbor to spare a tribe from drought. Even now, people near ocean caves or deep waters speak of immense shadows, unexplainable sounds, and vessels that vanish without trace. Do Taniwha exist? Scientifically, there is no evidence, no fossils or biological proof, yet they endure as more than fable. In Maori thought, Taniwha embody awe, danger, and the wildness of the sea. And perhaps, long ago, something real sparked these stories. If the Taniwha guarded seas and harbors, and one of them had many heads. Number 9. The Hydra. Remember the creature Hercules battled? The terrifying serpent with countless heads? That monster was the Hydra. It sounds like pure fantasy, but here's the catch. It's real. Not the towering nightmare of legend, though. In the tales of ancient Greece, the Hydra was a venomous serpent that lurked in the swamps of Lerna. If a hero severed one head, 2 would grow in its place, and its poisonous breath could kill anyone who came near. Hercules destroyed it as one of his 12 labors, a story the Greeks and Romans retold for centuries in art, sculpture, and even coins. They were clearly obsessed with this myth. But here's the modern twist. A real Hydra exists in our world today. It isn't massive or lethal, it's tiny, only about 10 millimeters long, roughly the size of a grain of rice. It lives underwater, snaring prey with its stinging tentacles. And scientists found something astonishing about it. In 2015, researchers tried repeatedly to kill the Hydra and failed. Every time, its cells regenerated, restoring it to perfect health. This miniature creature may never age, effectively living forever. So, while ancient myths imagined an immortal monster of chaos, the real world gave us something far more extraordinary, a creature that may hold the secret to eternal life. If the Hydra guarded the swamps of Greece, the next creature wrapped its coils around the entire world, and even the gods feared it. Number 8. Jörmungandr. In Norse mythology, Jörmungandr, often called the Midgard serpent, is an enormous sea creature said to coil around the entire world, gripping its own tail. His name translates to the Great Beast, and legend claims his endless body traps humankind within the circle of the sea. Few beings, even among the gods, could rival his terror. Jörmungandr was one of Loki's 3 monstrous children, along with Hel and Fenrir. When the gods learned of them, they feared what chaos these offspring might unleash. Odin cast Jörmungandr into the ocean, believing he would sink and die. But instead, the serpent grew, feeding on the waters until his coils stretched across the earth. The gods dreaded his return, for prophecy said it would bring the world's final hour. During the cataclysm of Ragnarok, Thor meets the serpent in battle. He slays Jörmungandr, but the creature's venom seeps into his veins. After taking 9 final steps, Thor falls dead beside his foe. But perhaps this myth was not entirely born from imagination. Fossils of a massive prehistoric serpent known as Paleophis colossus, a real sea snake that lived around 60 million years ago, have been discovered. It reached nearly 50 feet long, about the length of 2 school buses placed end to end. Ancient peoples who unearthed such bones may have believed they had found proof of the legendary Midgard serpent. Even today, Jörmungandr's image endures in carvings, stories, and games, a timeless reminder of nature's might and the inescapable power of the sea. But not every sea monster came from myth. Some appeared in our own time, heard, not seen, and they shook the scientific world to its core. Number 7. The Bloop. In 1997, researchers detected an enormous, low-frequency sound deep in the Pacific Ocean. It was so powerful that sensors thousands of kilometers apart picked it up. The mysterious noise, dubbed the Bloop, sparked wild speculation that it came from a living creature of unimaginable size. To produce a sound that strong, it would have needed to be 100 times larger than a blue whale. This mystery gave rise to a modern legend, a colossal, unknown being hiding beneath the waves. But scientists eventually traced the source to massive icebergs breaking apart in the Antarctic Ocean. Still, the idea of an undiscovered giant lurking in the deep isn't impossible. Prehistoric seas once swarmed with enormous life forms, like Leedsichthys, a fish so vast that when it opened its 40,000-toothed mouth, it might have looked like the very monster people imagined when they first heard the bloop. Some say the ocean made that noise itself, others think something else did. What's your theory on the bloop? Comment down below before we move on. Number 6. Scylla. On one side, a deadly whirlpool, and on the other, a six-headed monster. Could anyone survive such a passage? In Greek mythology, Scylla haunted a narrow sea channel that faced the whirlpool Charybdis. Any sailor who steered away from one would drift straight toward the other. There was no safe route, only a choice between two terrors. Scylla wasn't massive, but she was horrifying. 6 serpent-like necks rose from her body, each tipped with a gaping mouth, lined with teeth sharp enough to crush bone. Hidden inside her sea cave, she waited for ships to pass. When they came too near, she lunged with terrifying speed, snatching sailors from their decks one by one. Yet the myths say she wasn't always a monster. Once, she was a nymph loved by Poseidon, but his jealous wife, Amphitrite, cursed her, poisoning the waters where Scylla bathed and twisting her beauty into nightmare. Homer later placed her in a real location, the Strait near modern Messina, Italy. That stretch of water is known for violent currents and strange sea creatures. Ancient sailors could have glimpsed the tentacles of giant squid, the long shapes of oarfish, or shifting forms in the waves, and combined them into one terrifying image. In that sense, Scylla may not represent a single beast, but a memory pieced together from countless real encounters at sea. Scylla turned narrow seas into death traps, but far to the north, another legend hid in calm waters, one that refuses to die even today. By now, you've noticed how myth and reality keep colliding. So what happens when we reach the most chilling stories of all? Number 5. The Loch Ness Monster. For centuries, people in Scotland have sworn they've seen a massive creature lurking in Loch Ness, long-necked, shadowy, and shaped like something from another age. Despite sonar scans and underwater cameras, no one has ever proven it exists. Most scientists believe the sightings are a mix of hoaxes, illusions, and wishful thinking, but the idea isn't entirely impossible. Millions of years ago, a real animal like it did exist: the Plesiosaurus. It wasn't a dinosaur, but it lived during the same era, gliding through oceans with 4 paddle-like flippers and a neck as long as a giraffe's. For roughly 150 million years, it ruled the seas until it vanished during the Great Extinction. So, if the Plesiosaurus disappeared so long ago, why do people claim to see its shape in Loch Ness even today? The simplest answer is that someone, somewhere, once discovered a fossil, and from that fossil, a legend was born. If the Loch Ness Monster is a shadow of the past, the next beast might be that past refusing to stay buried. Number 4. Megalodon. Around 10 million years ago, one creature ruled the seas, the mighty Megalodon. It reached lengths of over 80 feet and weighed close to 140,000 pounds. Its jaws could crush steel, and each tooth was as large as a human hand. One bite could split a whale in two. Nothing on Earth could rival it. Fossilized remains have been found across the world, from the coasts of Japan to the cliffs of Peru. So perfectly preserved, they almost seem fresh. That's why many people ask, what if it never really disappeared? In 2012, rescue teams reported a massive shape moving beneath their vessel, over 60 feet long, never identified. A decade later, researchers near Australia retrieved hundreds of shark teeth from the ocean floor, some belonging to species thought to have descended from the Megalodon itself. Scientists maintain it went extinct roughly 2 million years ago, but strange sightings still emerge. Could something ancient still hide in the depths? Movies often show the Megalodon as a larger great white shark, but that image isn't quite right. It was slower, longer, and built for power, not pursuit. It needed over 2,000 pounds of food every single day. Even a newborn Megalodon could feast on small dolphins with ease. So what ended its reign? Not a monster, but competition. The smaller, faster great white shark began stealing its food, and the giant faded into history. Yet, we've explored less than 1/5 of our oceans. If something that enormous wanted to stay hidden, it easily could. Maybe the king of the seas is gone, or maybe deep below it still waits. But monsters don't only haunt the tropics. Some dwell in ice where the ocean meets silence, and the line between human and beast begins to blur. Number 3. The Ningen. In the early 2000s, a group of Japanese sailors reported something moving beneath the frozen waters near Antarctica. At first, they thought it was an iceberg breaking apart until it turned. They named it Ningen. Picture this, a creature with pale, almost translucent skin, long, drifting arms, and a shape disturbingly close to human. Some said it looked like a ghostly mermaid. Others described it as a pale giant gliding just beneath the surface, too smooth, too deliberate to be a trick of the light. Soon after, blurry photographs and grainy videos began spreading online. The images were eerie, white forms against the deep blue, vanishing the moment light hit them. Most were dismissed as hoaxes, reflections, or digital artifacts. But even so, the question lingered. Could something like the Ningen actually exist? Antarctica is one of the least explored places on Earth. Its waters are colder, deeper, and darker than almost anywhere else. If any environment could hide a creature that size, it would be there, beneath layers of ice thicker than skyscrapers are tall. Few humans ever go there, and those who do rarely stay long. It's the perfect hiding place. Scientists, intrigued by the reports, began searching for explanations. One theory points to an extinct aquatic sloth, known as Thalassochnus, a real animal that once lived along the coasts of Chile and Peru. It had long, powerful limbs made for swimming, and fossils show it evolved to spend nearly its entire life in the sea. Those fossil sites aren't far from Antarctica, suggesting its descendants could have drifted farther south than we ever realized. Another theory connects the Ningen to an ancient shark species, Aquilalamna, discovered only recently. Unlike any other shark, it had broad, wing-like fins, giving it a manta ray's silhouette. Fossil evidence places Aquilalamna at around 66 million years old, wiped out alongside the dinosaurs. But sharks are survivors. They've endured every extinction event Earth has faced. So what if one species never truly vanished? What if it adapted, evolving to thrive in the freezing black beneath Antarctic ice? To this day, no one knows for sure. Every sonar reading, every blurred image, every eyewitness account only adds to the mystery. Whether it's a remnant of the past or a trick of the mind, the Ningen remains one of the most chilling enigmas whispered about our oceans. It's not loud, it doesn't attack, it simply glides, watching, waiting, just below the ice. And if the Ningen is unsettling, the next legend is beyond comprehension. It's not a creature you fight, it's a force you survive. Number 2, the Sea Eater. This tale isn't just legend, it's a warning. The being called the Sea Eater is said to be among the largest and strangest creatures ever imagined, yet describing it is nearly impossible. It's too vast for words. Some claim it rises 5 kilometers high, spreads 4.5 kilometers wide, and stretches more than 25 kilometers in length, bigger than an entire city. Others say it's even greater. It dwells in the deepest parts of the ocean, far from ships and light. When it moves, the sea itself shifts around it. It doesn't roar, it doesn't chase, it simply consumes. Islands, vessels, even waves vanish in its path. That's how it earned its name, the Sea Eater. Witnesses say it brings a kind of fear that locks your body in place. Those who claim to have seen it describe feeling small, insignificant, like the ocean itself was watching them. Its body is covered in thick, rubber-like skin, smooth as a whale's, yet somehow the water passes through it, letting it move effortlessly. Ancient sailors told of men so stunned by its presence that they steered their ships straight into its open mouth, frozen between horror and awe. But the most terrifying part? Its arms. 2 enormous limbs made not of flesh, but of bones, collected from the sea creatures it had crushed. Each one towers higher than a skyscraper. They can move at frightening speed, nearly 1,000 miles per hour, dragging the creature across the ocean floor, or reaching for prey above. Sightings are rare, but when they happen, they leave lasting scars. In 1927, a woman named Evelyn Mary was lying on the beach when she noticed something vast moving beneath the waves, a shifting mountain in the sea. As it drew closer, silent and unstoppable, she fled in terror. 3 years later, in 1930, a fisherman and his father were casting nets in the Pacific when a dark shadow rose beneath them. Before they could react, the creature surfaced and flipped their boat. Neither man was ever found. The most chilling story dates back to 1862, when the Sea Eater reportedly appeared off an unknown coast. The waves it stirred reached nearly 120 meters high. The tsunamis that followed flooded parts of the land for over 60 years. Some dismiss these tales as seafaring myths, but they appear again and again. Pirates spoke of serpents that swallowed the world. Religious writings warned of the Leviathan, a beast from the deep that punishes the wicked. Even ancient Egyptian carvings show a massive creature lurking beneath the waves, too immense to comprehend. So, where could it be now? Most reports come from the Pacific and Indian Oceans, rarely from the Atlantic. Those who claim to have seen it agree on one thing: its arrival is never good news. It never never steps on land, and when it drifts into shallow water, its flesh seems to rot as if the light itself harms it. But if it ever found a way to survive on land, the consequences could be catastrophic. For now, the seas remain quiet, too quiet. Maybe it sleeps, maybe it watches, or maybe it's preparing to rise again. And yet, some horrors aren't made of flesh at all. The final legend isn't alive, it's a spirit born from everything humanity took from the sea. Number 1, the ghost whale. For centuries, whales were sacred in Japan, seen as gifts from the ocean, honored with prayers and ceremonial burials. But one whale was said to return not with blessings, but with vengeance. Its name was Kujira, the ghost whale, a glowing skeleton that appeared near villages to bring famine and fire. Why would such a creature, once beloved, become a curse? In the old days, fishermen used every part of a whale and prayed for its spirit to rest. But that reverence faded as greed replaced gratitude. When hunting turned into industry, the songs of whales were drowned by the roar of engines and harpoons. By the 1960s, nearly 3 million whales had been slaughtered. What was once harmony between humans and the sea became something darker. The ghost whale, legend says, isn't a monster. It's a reminder, a haunting echo of what happens when the balance between respect and greed is broken. During a violent storm near Japan's Oki Islands, local fishermen claimed they saw something rise from the sea, a vast, skeletal shape glowing through the rain. They hurled their harpoons, but every weapon passed straight through it. The creature wasn't flesh, it was bone. When it disappeared, the village was struck by fire and disease. Some believe the ghost whale was born from human guilt, an echo of the ocean's anger. In Japanese belief, any being that dies unfairly or without proper respect can return as a restless spirit haunting the living. So perhaps this wasn't a simple legend, it was a message. Now, as our oceans warm and choke with pollution, the Kujira feels less like a ghost story and more like a warning. Maybe it's not haunting Japan anymore, maybe it's haunting all of us. But if the Kujira is a spirit born from guilt, what about the ones that never died at all? Some legends claim they're still alive, hiding in the darkest parts of the ocean, waiting to rise once more. If you love uncovering legends like these, make sure to subscribe before you go. Thank you for watching. My name is Sam, and I'm really smart.